we are going to show you, we're going to let you inside our secret world. We've never done this before. We do it often. But today it's not behind the scenes anymore. It's right in front of your face. We're talking about our running back and wide receiver rankings this week. We're not going to spend too much time talking about them, but we do want to show them to you and just kind of give you our thought process about some of our start-sit decisions. And when we look at these positions specifically, we're doing the top 30 running backs and the top 30 wide receivers. So essentially, when you look at this, I mentioned earlier, Christian Watson this week, wide receiver 28. Clearly, that's towards the bottom of the pack, but that puts him in a wide receiver 3 range. If you're playing in 10-man leagues, that puts him as a valuable flex play. If you're playing in shallower leagues than that. And also a viable flex play, like I just said. I don't know why I repeated myself. But let's kind of let you into that world. I'm going to go ahead. Do you want to do the honors? Do you want me to? I don't know how. Or we can just talk about them, or do you want to show them?
The rankings?
This is new to us. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me just keep going there. I'll bring them up. And I will say, so long story short, when it comes, we're going to talk about our wide receiver rankings first, or
let's do wide receiver rankings.
All right, let's do wide receiver rankings first. So we got them all here. We kind of did these separately, so the format isn't necessarily exactly the way we want, but who cares?
It's fine. We'll look for some. We'll look for some disagreements and see what we can kind of bring up and talk about. But we just thought it was interesting. We wanted to kind of show you guys, and we want to know if you want more of it. We actually put out our first poll because we had community polls. So thanks. Now we technically have a community as deemed by YouTube. So we get to actually talk about that. That's pretty dope. And because of that, one of the first polls we put out was, what do you want to see more of? Well, thanks to the 7 of you who voted. I thought we had a bigger community than that. Just kidding. You guys are all busy. You have tons of lives. I get that. Don't want to vote on a poll. But anyways, it was that you guys wanted to see more rankings. So, yeah, let's talk about some rankings right now. Currently, we both have Tyreek Hill number 1 this week. We're not going to do too much discussion at the top. I think the real discussion can be had as we kind of move further down this list. Let's just see. You can see on my side, I kind of color code it in red. Guys that I have in red are people that I've moved down previously from the week before. People who are in green basically means that I've moved them up over the last week's performance, or just because I like their matchup better this week. There's obviously a number of factors when you kind of contribute to that. But as we look, I don't know.
So I see. Is there anything in our top 12 here that really stands out on your end or my end? Would you say so?
Well, I see that you got no love for Amari Cooper this week, who takes on Tampa Bay. I have him at 12. You have him down here at 19. I get it. Tampa Bay has a really outstanding defense. Their trio of cornerbacks that they run out there, the platoon as you'll call them, have been tremendous this year. But also kind of just lately, Tampa Bay's been susceptible. Mm-hmm. And I think Amari Cooper being that number 1 option, he's bound to have a good day. I have him here as a borderline wide receiver 1. Kind of looking at it now, I might even rank Metcalf over him, maybe Mike Evans, which would fall back to 14. But I still like him in that range. I'm curious as to kind of your thoughts on him this week. Is it because of that Tampa Bay defense? Are they tough? Maybe you don't have a lot of love for –
I mean, no, I actually love Amari Cooper. I don't know where all the hate was for him coming into this year. I heard the arguments, but I'm saying like he's the most talented – player, not other than Nick Chubb. Sorry, Nick Chubb. He's the most talented wide receiver or pass catcher, whatever you want to say, on that Browns team. And I was like, nobody's going to be ahead of him. Mm-hmm. And he's been proving people wrong all year. And then don't forget Deshaun Watson's coming back.
That's true.
Maybe he might be rusty at first, but I think in the long run, Deshaun Watson throwing to Amari Cooper, like that's going to be – since he lost DeAndre Hopkins, he never really had that number 1 guy. I mean, Will Fuller had a great year with him, but we saw what happened with that. So, like, I'm saying Amari Cooper is one of the best players that Watson's ever had the pleasure of playing with.
Sure.
And he's going to be throwing to him. I know that the Browns run a lot, but no, I do like Cooper. But this week, there's nothing wrong with Cooper. Yes, it's a tough matchup, but
it's a tough matchup.
I like a lot of the matchups above him. Like, for example, I have DK Metcalf at number 11, and I have Tyler Lockett at number 15. I think they're both going to have great days against the Las Vegas Raiders, who are very friendly to wide receivers. So things like that. And I even have I don't have both Bucks pass catchers above him, but I mean, I do have a guy like Mike Evans above him. I think Debo, a lot of people are a lot lower on Debo than I am. He doesn't have as much volume as he used to, obviously. So I just think I like a lot of other players more than Amari Cooper this week, but
That's
nothing
fair.
wrong with him.
No, and that's usually what it comes down to. It
Yeah.
comes down to preference. Again, when you talk about these top 10, these top 12 guys, these borderline wide receiver 1 guys, that's the discussion that often is had. Like, you're not going to not start these guys. It's just, hey, I think this guy has a better matchup. I think he's going to have more opportunity. Therefore, it's going to relate and correlate to more fantasy production. We did have a comment in the chat. It was Star Drew. He said, you have Waddle over CD Lamb this week? Yes, because a guy like Tua Tagovailoa, a guy like Tua Tagovailoa is supporting 2 top 5 wide receivers in terms of yardage on the year, being Tyreek Hill, who's the wide receiver 1, and Jalen Waddle, who's the wide receiver 5 on the year in terms of yardage.
Well, I think Star Drew's giving me crap for having Lamb over Waddle.
Oh, because
That's
I
what's
do have
happening.
him ahead
Yes,
of Lamb.
I have
you
Lamb
do
over
not.
Waddle.
Yeah, explain yourself, dude.
Look, it's CeeDee Lamb, baby. Let's go. He's the number 1 target in there. I know that Waddle and Hill are doing something amazing. They're both top 5 fantasy wide receivers this year. Shout out to Tua. Tua's playing great. I was wrong. I was a doubter. I'll have to say it every week this week that shout out to Tua. He's playing amazing. But I'm not going to lie. There's a little bias here. I'm a big CeeDee Lamb fan. That's my dude. But also, I do think there is something to be said being clearly the number 1 target and sharing. Yes, Waddle and Tyreek are having amazing years, but how often are they both going off? I mean, not every single game, right? So I just think it's going to be more of a narrow target tree for the Dallas Cowboys. So that's why I got Lamb higher.
Fair enough. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Lamb's good. And again, we're still in that discussion, top 10, where it's like, does it matter? Does it not? It's all preference.
But I mean,
right?
I think me having Lamb at 3 is a significant thing as opposed to like Waddle at 8. And where you have this isn't lined up
5.
exactly. Yeah, you have Waddle at 5 and Lamb at 7, right? Or no, at 8.
Yeah, 8.
Oh, so
it's not too much of a discrepancy. Not too much.
Yeah.
Let's look towards the bottom. And this is kind of something that I always think most people are kind of gravitating towards or focusing, because these are the guy that you kind of have questions about, right? Like, are you starting Chris Olave this week? Are you starting Treylon Burks? You're starting Chris Olave. You're starting Treylon Burks. There are rankings right there. I don't have Chris Olave or Treylon Burks in my top 30. I preferred guys over like Courtland Sutton and Alan Lazard just a little bit more. Clearly, I have Christian Watson, who's my dark horse this week. And you don't have any Christian Watson love at all. So, yeah, there's conversations to be had down here.
So I think also that plays into this. I did not rank Jamar Chase. I didn't rank Juju Smith-Schuster.
I did not either.
And I didn't rank Mike Williams.
And Mike Williams just recently updated. He did not practice today. And, yeah, we get those updates a little late. But you know what? We're following it in real time. Sorry, my Twitter isn't as fast as yours. But, yeah, back to those rankings. I'm looking here. Let's see, like, what's your love for Courtland Sutton this week? They go against Carolina. Jerry Jeudy's likely not going to play. I mean, you have him at 26. I have him at 30. So we both have him there. But clearly there's a slew of other guys
like, just how can you not perform in this spot? But look, I started
looking at your rankings. I don't even have.
I started Russell Wilson in the league last week. I remember a couple of weeks ago, I said, hey, pick up Russell Wilson. He has a nice schedule to end the year. No, I'm done. I'm done this year. I'm going to be buying back in next year, though. Watch.
Yeah, that's fair. It happens. It's a tidal wave of emotions with fantasy.
Absolutely,
football, yeah. But no, speaking specifically of Courtland Sutton, I have him at 30. You have him at 26.
Judy might miss the game, so that's for me is the biggest factor.
Sure, big factor, and I'm actually saying this in favor of you because I have him in my top 30. You have him a little bit higher, but I like Joshua Palmer more. I like George Pickens, Chris Olave, and Treylon Burks more, and I don't even have Chris Olave or Treylon Burks ranked, so I have to go back and readjust some of my rankings to make it kind of, retroactive. I think Courtland Sutton can easily find himself outside of my top 30 this week. But yeah, notable other discussions. You got Chris Godwin, the Goblin, 21. I have him notably higher.
Yes, I do.
Coming off the bye in a plus matchup, I think that there's points to be had. I think that Chris Godwin has done fine job, especially because of this narrative that like he hasn't been healthy all year. but yet
But he's getting insane amount of targets.
he's getting
like
an insane
10,
amount of
11
targets
a game.
And sure, he may not be like wide receiver 15 on the year or something like that. I think he's like wide receiver 16 or 17. But like that's a wide receiver too. So in terms of production, I have him in multiple places. He's been doing just fine for me, and I think my rankings reflect that. Whereas you have him kind of like in the white, like borderline 2, kind of like tie it top end 3. We both have Mike Evans higher than him. I have him at 14.
Yeah, I mean that's for me is like where I can rank Waddle and Hill close together and pretty high. I can't really do the same with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Like I think it's one of them. It's not both. It's not going to be both of them. It's going to be one or the other. And I tend to always lead the Mike Evans sides for the touchdown upside.
Touchdown upside is a big thing. It's also the hardest thing to predict. But no, it's not. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I don't dislike it. Well, I mean, wide receiver rankings, we've kind of let you into the world, right? We're not doing too much.
We'll have that cleaned up a little bit more. We'll have like a better presentation of it in the future for sure.
There's a first time for everything, okay? And we just kind of wanted to show you our messy minds and what it looks like. Most notably here, let's take a look at our running back rankings this week. Now, Jacob, you get to pick apart mine, okay? So feel free as we kind of look at them as he now tries to fix them in real time, but it's fine. He just needs to learn to just take a deep breath and everything's going to be okay. Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry at the top, CMC. I would have had him naturally higher, but again, I'm not picky with these guys at the top. Let's go ahead and scroll down.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, these are just Gabe's rankings this week. We're planning the show notes a little last minute. I didn't get a chance to do my running back rankings, but we will pick apart yours.
It's not that you didn't get to do them. It's just you're a busy guy. You got a lot of fancy questions to answer, and the chat was popping before. We can lie to these people, dude. They don't have to know everything about our lives. That wasn't muted. It's fine. We're going to deal with it as we come. Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker find themselves in the top 10 for me this week. Travis Etienne as well. Nick Chubb, that 14 for 19 last week, worried me a little bit, and he takes on an even tougher defense this week in Tampa Bay. So that's kind of the reason why he kind of falls nod. And also he's been so TD dependent. We've seen what happens now when he doesn't get those TDs. He ends up with a horrible fantasy day. But obviously I don't think he's going to have a bad game as he did last week, but still noticeable downgrade for him. Also, I have Ramondre Stevenson in a noticeable downgrade just because I like Dalvin Cook's matchup this week against a tough New England defense. I think he's going to get a little bit more work, though. So kind of like that. Jeff Wilson, I like him this week. Tony Pollard, what do you do? You're starting him now, right?
Absolutely.
Like he's a must-start every week.
There's no question.
He finds himself in a running back 2 category for me, which is sad because I have Ezekiel Elliott much farther down. I think I have him towards 30 or 27, 29.
Yeah.
I might kind of move that, but it's just so weird. 2 weeks ago, I had them almost so close together, and they were right around the 18-19 range. And now we've just seen a complete kind of takeover from Tony Pollard.
I love it. I've been saying this for years. I mean, I'm not the only one, but I've been super high on Pollard for years, and I'm so glad to see it coming to fruition.
Yeah,
so
it's
glad.
Weird. It's just weird, man. Since the show has started, we kind of haven't seen that natural workhorse running back that's faded into darkness.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of thought it was going to be Derrick Henry this year, maybe, but Zeke, he's kind of like that first guy in the era of first round fantasy that has went from fantasy stardom to really you're kind of done. And sure, yes, Melvin Gordon but Zeke was
when we started,
Zeke was a top
5 running back,
top 3 running back, and now he's just kind of come down to what he is. But it's set, it's set. But anyways, it leaves emergence for other guys, most notably towards the bottom as we look here. Isaiah Pacheco, running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, take on the Los Angeles Rams. Injury riddled. That defense, I don't know, dude. It's just like the Los Angeles Dodgers, and no shade here, but. Sure, they got a Super Bowl last year. It's just another thing to show. You can put as much money as you want into something. You still need good coaches. You need good teamwork. And they're playing horrible this year. That defense is great on paper, horrible in natural respect. And I just like what the Chiefs do with the ball, and I like that Isaiah Pacheco's getting the workload. So I like him.
Speak for yourself. I say yes, shade towards the Dodgers and the Rams. Get them out of here.
Get him out of here. Latavius Murray finds himself as the lead in Denver. He's certainly a kick up. I might actually move him up a little bit more this week. Rachaad White. interesting discussion to have. Gio's in the house. He can kind of give us some thoughts.
Well,
especially because
Leonard Fournette might not play this week.
He was a limited participant in practice this week today, so we'll have to follow him throughout the rest of the week. But,
how much? All right, let me ask you this:
like,
if
if he's
Leonard
healthy
Fournette
and
gets
he
ruled
plays.
out, how does Rachaad White move up your board?
Does he move up my board? Currently 25. Obviously, I have Leonard Fournette right in front of him right now. I think if he's ruled out and Rachaad White does play, I think I can see a situation where he jumps Miles Sanders, Antonio Gibson, David Montgomery, probably Jamal Williams because you're banking on the touchdown upside. So he falls into that running back 2019
so
category.
not like insane. He doesn't jump to top 10.
No, because I don't know. Like, there's just so many.
This will be the first time we ever
Also,
see him as the starter, so who knows?
Sure. And Giovanni Bernard just activated off of IR. He's practicing this week. What does he do as the Bucs look to make their end season push here? So there's just a few factors. I'd rather see him do it. Like, we saw him do it last week after Fournette went out. Can he put it together again? That's kind of what I want to see. So he's clearly made the top 30. If Fournette's rolled out, I think he's a surefire running back too. But I'm not like lighting the world on fire saying he's going to finish in like an RB1 range. Like, I wouldn't go that far. But he's going to get the volume. He's going to get the workload to put up running back 2 numbers. So for that, I like him this week.
So I will say, Gabe, I like your list. Nothing crazy, but for me, I'll tell you who my RB1 is this week.
Oh,
and that is Kenneth Walker of the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, no.
How did I go from hating the Seahawks years ago? Now I don't really mind them. I like these we talked about it before, these Geno Smith Seahawks. I kind of like them.
It's a new era.
But Kenneth Walker, again, playing against your Las Vegas Raiders, he's going to run like a madman this week. And I think he's going to be the RB1 on. So I would have Kenneth Walker even ranked above Austin Eckler.
Not only that, and I want to look it up before I say it, but he's getting passing down work too. It's like those guys are valuable. They're very, very valuable. And I know I don't want to say that because, producer Gio's in the house and he just made a trade with me to where I attained a Kenneth Walker and I gave up Stephon Diggs. So it was a pretty fair trade.
You also inherited a bye week in doing that trade.
Sure.
You traded the Bills already had their bye week, right? So you traded away someone who doesn't have a bye week left.
Diggs already went through their bye week.
So I'm saying, and you had to ride without him.
Which I lost.
Yeah. So
I lost this week. No, I won. I won him.
So,
I won. I guess it worked out.
Yeah.
But what I like for Kenneth Walker is the targets too. What I like for Kenneth Walker.
Finger gesture. I'm not going to say which one.
I like the targets as well. 4 targets 2 weeks ago, 8 targets last week. That related to 6 catches here for 55 yards. So in PPR leagues, he's doing just fine as well. You hope to see that continue. And I have it ranked, I would believe, pretty accurately here. He finds himself as the running back 5 for me this week, just under Josh Jacobs, which honestly, looking at it in real time, come on, guys, I'm an impulsive man. You should know this by now. I would flip those 2. I think I like Kenneth Walker more than Josh Jacobs this week. Seattle's defense is a little stingier than first thought. However, they are susceptible. So Kenneth Walker leapfrogs over Josh Jacobs. He's a top 5 running back this week. I like that.
Let me ask you something. Do you have any shares of Josh Jacobs this year?
You know what's funny is not only do I have a signed Josh Jacobs jersey and a signed Josh Jacobs. When our podcast first started, in my little setup, I had both of those things.
Nice.
Well, you don't remember, so whatever. But no, I don't have any shares of Josh Jacobs. I've never had shares.
I was going to ask, how is it to I know he had a great rookie season, and then since then it's been up and down until this year, and he's clearly like a surefire RB1. I was like, how does it feel like your boy is killing it this year?
Well,
but you haven't had any. You don't
I
have,
don't have any shares of them. But I will say it like this, and we'll move on because we got to get done with these running back rankings so we can get into our DFS talks. But the one thing I will say is, it sucks to be a running back because he didn't get re-upped for his what is it in terms of contract? What's the official language? Like, they didn't pick up his last year.
Yeah.
So clearly he's going to be a free agent. Does that mean they sign him again? Sure.
They declined his 5th-year option. And now they're literally doing what they could have been doing this entire time. But because it's almost like they have no use for him, he's just going to be gone. And then they would have had him.
They're giving him 30 carries a game now.
And now he gets to go sign with whoever he wants.
Sure. But that's what I feel like if I went into the NFL, which you're never going to see me in the NFL. Like, I would hate to be a running back. They get treated like absolute dog doo-doo, bro. And now they have no
Relative
use for
to
him. They're going to run him into the
Other
ground.
positional players, yeah.
And he's going to go. He's going to be in a committee next year or something.
I
Maybe
would
he stays
say-
with the Raiders, and that would be great.
I would say
but it's just
if you grew up and it was your dream to go to the NFL, and you played 4 productive years as a starting running back of a team, and make
No,
millions
bro.
of dollars.
no, but this is the rookie
You're
contract,
living the
man.
dream.
As a running back, you are considered successful
No, I would
running
love
back
for them
if you
to-
make it to the second.
Look, I'm
contract.
pro running back. I think that running backs are
Like-
severely underpaid.
Sure,
There's-
Henderson,
yeah.
Cam Akers. There's a bound
Look at
full
these
of other guys.
offenses like Derrick Henry, like the Saints, that where the team literally the heartbeat and pulse of the team is the running back. They would not be competitive without their running backs, and so they need to be treated as such. I agree, but it's just I think it's great to see Josh Jacobs having this type of success. That's it.
Fair enough. Well, hey, look, it was beautiful. It was a little rough, but there you have it. Our running backs and wide receiver rankings for week 12 of the fantasy football season. We're going to try to fine tune those things as we go forward, but it's week 12 and we're in person, and we just want to do something a little different.